Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our virtual kindergarten information night. My name is Mrs. Canavo, and I am the principal of Menands School. We do have a PowerPoint that we are going to share this evening, so I'm going to share my screen with all of our families, and then we will start with introductions, and then we will jump right into the content of this evening. So let me just pull up my I apologize. Thank you for being patient with me. I just needed to pull up my screen. So thank you for joining us this evening and welcome. Again, my name is Mrs. Canavo and I am the principal here at Menands School. And we greatly appreciate you attending our first kindergarten virtual parent information night. In many years past, we would have you here in the building, but we are happy to have you join us virtually. And over the course of the next couple of months, we look forward to being able to invite families in. We are here this evening to provide you some information about our school and the upcoming events that align with kindergarteners as they enroll for the fall 2021 school year. I'm going to start with some introductions with us this evening. And I would say as I introduce the panelists, you can take yourself off of mute and just say hello to our families. So that way your picture pops up to the front. First with us, I have is Mrs. D'Ambro, and she is our school nurse.
Hi, everyone.
Next, I have with us both of our kindergarten teachers. We have Mrs. Maldonado and Mrs. Kennedy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mrs. Maldonado.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Kennedy.
We also have Mrs. Amatrano with us, and she is our pupil services coordinator.
Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Amatrano.
Mrs. Vandenberg is our school counselor and will be joining us as well. She's experienced a few technical difficulties, but Dr. Long is working very hard to get her on with us. So we welcome Mrs. Vandenberg with us. And then we also have a PTA representative here with us this evening, Mrs. Lindsay Lapari. She has a kindergartner with us currently, and she's our PTA treasurer.
Hi, everyone.
And then last but not least, we have Dr. Long with us, and she is the Superintendent of Schools.
Hi, everybody.
So this evening, before we begin discussing the registration process and the screening day that will occur in preparation for the start of our kindergarten year, I would like to take a few moments to tell you about our school and how excited we are to meet your children as they begin the process for entering kindergarten.
Miss Canavo, can I jump in for 1 second?
Absolutely.
There's a comment in the chat box from one of our folks that they are muted by the host. So I'm going to try and take care of that. I think it might be one of our PA folks who may be in as an attendee instead of a panelist.
Okay. Thank you. And that actually brings up something very important that I think I will say right off this, right from the beginning of our presentation. We will leave time at the end for questions from any families that you have that are general. If you have questions in regards to your specific child, I would encourage you to reach out to us over the next couple of days, and we would be happy to answer them. Our people who are attending are muted, and you don't necessarily have the ability to interact, but the chat feature and the question and answer feature is enabled. So as we're moving through, if you have any questions, please type them in there. And at the end, we will take a look at your questions and we will work to do our best to answer each of those. So please feel free to use the chat and question and answer piece as you have questions if they arise. And if they're not answered by the end, we'll be happy to go back to those. So a little bit about our school for families who may be brand new to us. Menands School is a kindergarten through 8th grade school. So we have both elementary and middle school students in our building. We currently have a little over 300 students enrolled at Menands, and each grade level has 1 or 2 sections. This year, most of our grade levels have 2 sections at each grade level. So we have 2 kindergartens or 2 first grades, and that really is dependent upon the number of students who are enrolled in addition to the makeup of those students. Our school day is a little bit different this year, but in a typical school year, we start at 8:10 and we dismiss right around 3:03. We had some minor adjustments this school year because of the pandemic and all of the pieces and parts that we had to put together to make it possible for us to have students on campus learning safely. But in a typical school year, which we hope to get back to next year, our arrival starts right around 8:10 and we dismiss at 3:03. And our district does provide bus transportation for all of our students. Parents certainly have the opportunity to transport children themselves, and there'll be more information that comes home about that over the summer. But for any student who would like bus transportation, we do offer that for all of our district residents. At Menands, we are very fortunate to offer quite a plethora of special area classes in addition to the reading and writing and math and science and social studies that most students have. We also offer, of course, physical education or gym class, as many of you may know that. We have art for all of our students, music, Spanish, health, and then they also have an opportunity to take library and media. So in addition to our core subjects such as math and reading, our students really do have a really wonderful opportunity, are exposed to the arts, as well as some physical activities and languages. It really is a very well-rounded program that your child will get to experience starting right in kindergarten. We are very fortunate and we are happy to embrace technology. We are a one-to-one school district. That means that all of our students have individual Chromebooks. So your child will be assigned a Chromebook when they start with us, and they will have that available to them throughout the day while they are learning. Once your child reaches middle school, beginning of 5th grade, we do have a full band and choral program that is under the direction of Mrs. Hayes, that students have the opportunity to join. And then also, it sounds so far away in 8 or 9 years, but we do offer accelerated classes in middle school as well. Sometimes families will often ask about aftercare. As long as we meet the minimum number of students that need to enroll, we do have aftercare through the YMCA. It's the Troy Family Y Time After School Care, and that runs after school until 5:30 p.m. and it is right here at Menands. And as we register and move forward, that information will become available for families who may be interested in accessing our aftercare programs. And I apologize, I got started and I never changed the slides, so let me switch over. I apologize for that.
And Ms. Canavo, Tammy McNamara has joined us.
Perfect. Welcome, Mrs. McNamara. I will take a moment to introduce her. Mrs. McNamara is the Vice President of our Parent-Teacher Association. So Mrs. McNamara, if you'd like to unmute and say hello, you came on at a perfect time before I segue into the next piece.
Thank you, everyone. I was having some weird computer problems. Hi, I'm Tammy.
Thank you for joining us. And then one of the events that a lot of families tend to ask about as we come into our kindergarten information night is if we do a kindergarten screening. And we are planning on doing a kindergarten screening this evening or this school year. It is an appointment-based screening. So once you have registered with the district, we will send you an invite with a date and a time. Our screenings are set for April 13th, 14th, and 15th this school year. And we tell families to plan on being here for about from like an hour to an hour and a half. Your child will have an opportunity to meet kindergarten teachers, some of our specialists. You'll have an opportunity to look over your registration paperwork, answer any questions that you may have. I would say if your screening time is close to lunch or a snack time, please feel free to bring a small snack with you. But when you arrive to the school, you'll sign in and we'll get you all set up and we'll go through our kindergarten screening. And the kindergarten teachers will talk a little bit about what that looks like. And it's really just an opportunity for us to get to know your children and to learn a little bit about them. So I am going to transition into the registration process because that is always something that families want to know a lot about, and you will get some more information as we move through the presentation tonight in these other areas as well. So the registration process, Mrs. Calderon, she is our registrar and she's the person who will go through most of this with you. But I think the key documents that families need to have, and you may have to request copies, so we want to get this out to you ahead of time. We must have a copy of your child's birth certificate. You will be required to provide proof of residency. That's a lease, a mortgage, bills. There's a list in our registration paperwork for you. And Mrs. Calderon can answer any of that. The completed registration packet, which is available on our website, but you can also pick that up at school if you would like to. And then we have to have a copy of your immunizations and physicals. And I have Mrs. D'Ambro with us this evening to talk a little bit about those medical documents and any important information from the nurse's office, because the medical documents can really be a piece that will hold you up in the registration process, and we want to avoid that for all of our families. So Mrs. D'Ambro, if you'd like to speak to that, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mrs. Canavo. So as Mrs. Canavo had mentioned, all students entering kindergarten are required to have an updated physical and immunizations. And by an updated physical, it has to be less than 1 year old. My recommendation is to have it as close to the start of school if possible. Secondly would be the immunization piece of it. Your child does need to be up to date for immunizations, and that will be up to date for a 5-year-old. If you have any questions in regards to whether your child is up to date, I do have the ability to look that information up. In most cases, you could certainly give me a call in the health office. My extension is 109, and I can try to help you look up that information to see if that is some additional paperwork that I can help you with. In regards to the physical, it is a New York State mandate that the physical is completed on a specific form. That form will be posted on our website tomorrow. And right here in this slide, I describe how you can access that form. So you will have access to this slideshow, and you'll be able to refer to how to access that. The one other thing that I did want to talk about is medications at school. It is very important for parents and guardians to understand that children cannot transport medications in any circumstances, as very dangerous thing. So I just want everyone to know that an adult would need to bring that medication and doctor's order into school. I will meet occasionally. The medication does need to be in a sealed bottle. So if, for example, your child takes Benadryl, it does not have to have a pharmacy label. You can certainly get that straight from the pharmacy over the counter. It has to be a closed bottle, though. I cannot accept anything that is opened. So just if you have a child who does take medications, certainly reach out to me before the first day of school. Sooner the better, so that we can discuss these things and contour exactly what your child may need. So if anyone has any questions, they can certainly ask questions. Are we going to do that through chat, Mrs. Canavo?
Yep, absolutely. If parents have any questions, they can put that in the chat, and we'll be happy to circle back to them at the end. And I know Mrs. D'Ambro, I would recommend, if families have questions, to certainly reach out to you directly here at school at extension 109. And Mrs. D'Ambro can absolutely answer some of those questions. And if we have any specific questions around immunizations or physicals, Mrs. D'Ambro, I'll be happy to forward them to you tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. So I guess next we will introduce Mrs. Kennedy and Mrs. Maldonado to talk about our kindergarten programming.
Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am Mrs. Kennedy, one of the kindergarten teachers, and Mrs. Maldonado is here, and we're going to tell you a little bit about what to expect at kindergarten screening and in the kindergarten year overall. As Mrs. Canavo said before, kindergarten screening is a great way for us to get to know you as a family and to get to know your child specifically. So we're going to go over some more information and exactly what to expect that day. It's very common for a child to be shy at kindergarten screening, but usually after a couple minutes of us talking to them, we're able to get them to come with us one-on-one, and we're able to see a lot about what they already know academically, and also a little bit about their, what they are personality-wise and socially as well.
So before we talk about the screening process, we just wanted to go over some general expectations that we have for kindergartners coming into kindergarten. As always, we do have academic expectations, but we also have social and emotional and a sense of independence expectations also. So we're looking for students when they're coming into kindergarten, practicing taking turns and raising their hands. Really, we are going to work on problem solving a lot during kindergarten. That's like really one of the major things of being a kindergartner is how to solve a problem with the right words in the right way. And really working well with others. We also, especially this year and probably moving forward with next year, A sense of independence is very important in kindergarten. This year has been very tough. There's been lots of things that normally students would get help with, but this year we kind of had to have the students do it on their own. And I would assume that next year would be kind of the same. So a sense of independence would be going to the bathroom on their own, putting on their clothes, zipping up their jackets and tying their shoes, and getting themselves packed and unpacked for school. So those are just some general expectations that we're going to be looking for students when they enter kindergarten. And then we do have our academic expectations that we will be assessing during our kindergarten screening. So for the math expectations, we're just going to be going over identifying numbers. So giving your student a list of numbers and seeing which ones they can identify, counting up to 20, seeing if your student can finish a pattern, matching 1-to-1 with counting. So we're going to give them cubes and see if they can count the correct number. Recognizing colors and shapes. We're going to be putting out a variety of colors and shapes and seeing if they can tell us about them and organize them and sort them. And that is mostly everything that we are going to be assessing for math for our screening. And like Mrs. Kennedy said, that day is just a day for us to get to know your child. And if they don't know all of these things, that is perfectly fine. These are expectations that students should know mostly towards the end of kindergarten, but we just like to get a good sense of where they're at before they come into kindergarten. And Mrs. Kennedy will explain more about the reading in ELA that we will be assessing during screening time.
Yeah, so in addition to the math, we are looking for specific reading skills that your child may have. We will ask your child to state their name, age, and if they know their birthday. We will give your child a pencil and paper and see if they can write their name. We will see if your child can recognize uppercase and lowercase letters. We will do a little bit of rhyming and see if your child knows rhyming words. And then we will show them some of our sight words that we learned during kindergarten and see if they know any of them. It's very, very normal for a child to not know any of them or to just know a few maybe, but it really gives us a great jumping off point for the start of the year. And it helps us so that we're best prepared to help your child succeed. We're also going to show your child a book and see how familiar they are with books. It's called Print Concepts, so we're going to see if they know where the front and the back of the book are, which way to read, where a word is, where a letter is, and things like that. So we're just going to try to make your child as comfortable as we can, kind of get to know them, have a conversation with them. And it really gives us, like I said, a great way to get to know them better and just to see what skills they have. It's completely normal for them not to know most of the skills. These are things that we learned during kindergarten, and it's just a great way for us to get to know them. I think that's all we had. So next, Miss Amatrano will be talking to us about pupil services and ENL.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Amatrano, and I am the coordinator of Pupil Personnel Services. So that umbrella has a couple of different aspects to it. ENL is one of the components. It stands for English as a New Language, and this service is for students who grow up speaking a language other than English at home. The eligibility for this service is determined by an ENL, so an English as a New Language teacher, who will be present at the kindergarten screening. So part of the registration packet, we fill out you will be filling out a home language questionnaire, and it asks if there is a language other than English spoken at home. And if you indicate there is, then your child will be screened for ENL services during the kindergarten screening. Another component of the Pupil Personnel Services Department is Academic Intervention Services, or AIS. This is for students who may need additional support in math or reading, in addition to their current curriculum. So this is typically determined by student performance on local and state assessments. And this service could be a push-in service where the certified reading teacher would go to the classroom, or a pull-out service with a group of a couple of other students. Another component of the Pupil Personnel Services Department is special education. So this is for children who require specialized instructions or classroom accommodations and modifications to their curriculum due to a disability. This can also include related services like speech, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. Typically, Mrs. Aragona, our speech pathologist, participates in the kindergarten information night. Due to the remote setting, I'm going to be speaking on her behalf. She will be present at the screening and will be screening all the incoming kindergartners. She checks for 6 aspects of language. Expressive is your ability to speak and talk. Receptive is ability to listen to language. Fluency, voice, and speech sound. It'll be approximately a 10-minute screening with her. And she says, this is not a test. Don't worry. There is no need to study or prepare. And this will not be completed for children who just arrived from another country because we want them to feel comfortable with English first. Next, I have Mrs. Vandenberg, our school counselor, to speak about student support services.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's a real pleasure to be able to speak to you this evening. So tonight I'm going to speak to you about support services for our students. And at Menands, that is provided primarily by our school social worker, Ashley Mundini, and myself, Sherry Vandenberg, as the school counselor. The services that we provide are social emotional. Also, with myself, I provide academic and college and career readiness skill development. We will see students individually in small groups and push into classrooms to make sure that everybody is comfortable, that skill development is happening, and just to be there as a support for you and your student as they start this process in education. Primarily, I wanted to talk to you tonight about what to expect as your child prepares for kindergarten. This is a very exciting and anxiety-provoking time, and you may see some things as your student is preparing for kindergarten that may cause you to ask some questions. You may see some regression, for example, with some of their skill development, maybe almost like they forget to do some of the things that they've always been able to do. And that's perfectly normal as they are acquiring new skills so quickly right now. In addition, you may hear them start to voice some concerns about starting this new process. And the best thing to do is have a lot of positive self-talk with the student. Remind your child that they have had challenges in the past and that they have met those challenges and they will do so again. Remember that time when you didn't know how to play something or you couldn't quite reach something and then you were able to do it because you kept on trying. And kindergarten will be the same way. We're here as a resource for you. We have several resources that we have created online for you that are connected with our website. We have a virtual calm down room, which has many resources on it, including music and songs and deep breathing and drawing, things like that that students can experience, and you can go right on our website to look at that. Additionally, we have other resources available that are in our community at large, in case you find that you want to know other types of things that exist that you can connect with, such as any type of childcare or camps or any other resources that you might find are specific to your family. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. We're here to support you and connect you where we can. I really look forward to meeting your children. Next up, we have our representatives from the PTA.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Lapari, and I'm the PTA Treasurer. So the PTA's mission is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. By joining the PTA, you're supporting not only the Menands School PTA, but an organization that advocates for all children in New York State and across the country. Joining the PTA makes an impact on on the child's life by putting you in direct contact with other parents and teachers, and it shows your child that you're interested and invested in their educational experiences. It makes it so that you come face to face with teachers that your student may not have, but you may see in the future through their development. The PTA appreciates everyone's membership, and any and all levels of participation is welcome and vital to our continued success. So even if you're not one to volunteer to help chair things, just being there and hearing the conversations or being a part of the conversations that happen at PTA meetings is, again, really important. Each school year begins a new PTA membership year, which means it's just a yearly commitment, and it can be as much or as little as you want to put into it. The Menands School PTA puts together many student events each year, as well as parent workshops, fundraisers, and offers financial assistance with several school-run student activities. This year, more of our events are looking virtual, so we're trying to make the best of it even when we can't come together in person. We're excited to see where next year is going to go and be able to develop our events even further. The remaining virtual meetings this year are Tuesday, April 27th and Wednesday, June 9th at 6:30 p.m. They're open to parents, teachers, and even community members, so all are welcome to attend. The Menands School PTA is also looking for 2 new board members for the 2021-2022 school year. The board term is 2 years, and don't be shy to volunteer even if you haven't been a part of Menands School before. As Ms. Canavo mentioned, my daughter's in kindergarten, so this was my first year in Menands School, and I volunteered. And what's nice about it is it's an ever-developing position and group, so we're always looking for new eyes and new people to join. So you can reach out to us. We have our website and then email on here, and you can like us on Facebook and Instagram.
Just also to let you guys know, there is a link on the school district website to get to our website if you're having trouble finding it or don't remember the address from tonight. That's all. I think that's all we have to say. So it looks like it's important dates, isn't it?
Thank you for joining us, ladies. We really do appreciate it. So, as we prepare to answer some of your questions this evening, there are a couple of important dates that I just wanted to point out to our families. So tomorrow, March 4th, kindergarten registration will officially begin, and that paperwork will become available on our website under student registration. There is a Google form that we would ask for you to fill out, and that Google form really starts the process for us. It asks for your name, your contact information, your child's name, and it gives us a sense of who we will have reaching out for future registration dates. So please go to our website. You're going to see there's a link under news and announcements that says kindergarten information night, and you'll see the Google form that you can fill out. You fill that out, that starts our registration process. You will see the registration paperwork online as well. Please feel free to print that out as well. If you are unable to print things, just give us a call here and we will be more than happy to either mail you a packet, or you can stop by the office and pick one up from our school secretary, Mrs. Mentickley. And that will really get you started, and Mrs. Calderon will work closely with you to get you registered and make sure you have the paperwork and everything that you need.
Ms. Donavo, I apologize for interrupting, but you're getting some feedback on your computer. I just want to let you know.
Thank you. Let me see if is that making it any better? Sorry. Okay. Looks like Mrs. Amatrano is going to come down and help me. I'm not sure why I'm getting feedback. Okay. Is that any better? Okay, I'm going to switch computers. Over here I go. So hopefully that is a little bit better. So as far as registration nights go, or I apologize, I lost my train of thought there for a minute. Kindergarten registration, Mrs. Calderon will really help you through that process. You can reach out to us here at school if you need help printing or if you'd like us to get a packet out to you in the mail. Again, that Google form is under our registration page, and that really will kind of trigger the process for us here at school. Again, our kindergarten screening dates will be April 13th, 14th, and 15th. Those are going to be appointment-based times for you to come into the school and meet with the teachers. I would like to assure all of our families that we have very strict COVID protocols in place, and we will absolutely be cleaning and sanitizing and making sure that it is absolutely safe. And we will be inviting families in one at a time. So, but if you have questions around that, please feel free to reach out and we can talk through exactly what that will look like and what that will mean, because we certainly want all of our families to feel comfortable and safe. August 23rd through the 26th, we are hopeful and planning a kindergarten warm-up week. And I think that this is one of the highlights for our families. It is an opportunity for students to come into our building for 2 hours, see their classrooms, meet the teachers, kind of get out all of those first day nervous pieces and parts, because they are the only people in the building. Only our kindergartners come in that week, and they get to ride the bus, and there's lots of families pictures, and it's really an exciting time. And it really does a nice job of helping them feel comfortable that first day of school in September. So we are excited and hopeful that we will be able to hold our kindergarten warm-up week. You will get more information about that early in the summer. But I like to put those dates out there just so as families are planning, they have them. So we are tentatively planning on the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. And it's in the morning for 2 hours. They come in, they do their thing, they meet their friends. It's a great time. So they really do enjoy that. And it really does help with the transition into kindergarten. Again, like I said, they're the only ones here. So it's not like they're riding the kids with the big, the buses with any of the big kids yet and all that good stuff. So it's a really nice time. And then hopefully again, in late August, we will be able to have our kindergarten meet and greet. And our kindergarten meet and greet is a time for kindergarten families with their children to come together and meet each other. We know that some of our kindergarten families are brand new to our school, so it allows you to meet some of the other parents. And the kids can see each other after kindergarten warm-up week. It's really a nice event. A lot of times our PTA representatives will be there as well. So we look forward to being able to hold that event. But again, we will put more information out as we have more information available, but we will absolutely be working to make sure that we are able to hold these events in a safe way. And we will put all of those pieces and parts together for you. So as we wrap up this evening, I have to just turn and change my slide one more time. Sorry. I am going to now pause and take questions from families that are related to kindergarten as a whole. So I'm just going to scroll down and look and see if I have any questions or anything in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for just a moment as well, because it just gives me a little bit better opportunity.
Ms. Canavo, I can see the questions, and the first one I see is, what will the first day of school be?
So the first day of school is tentatively set for the day after Labor Day, which is
September 7th.
September 7th.
And actually, I'll chime in here. Our school board adopts the calendar each year, and that will likely happen at the April meeting, which means when our parents come in for the screening process, we should be able to have the calendar available for them.
Thank you. Dr. Long, are you able to see other questions that may be in the chat? I'm just getting back in there right now. I apologize.
Yes, yeah. The next thing I see is no questions. Thank you so much for the information. And then the next question is, when will the paperwork be available? Is that tomorrow?
So the paperwork should go up on our website, I would say after 12 o'clock tomorrow. The Google form is there. If you haven't already done that, you can certainly start with that, but we will get the paperwork up there for you. The other piece is if your availability is in the morning, please stop by, I would say after 9 a.m. and you can come right to our school building entrance to the window, and Mrs. Mendel could also provide you with a paper copy.
Okay, the next question I see, Mrs. Canavo. Good evening. Approximately how many students are typically in a kindergarten class?
So I think that that varies from year to year. There's a lot of factors that go into that. It depends on how many students are registered, the makeup of the students, the level of needs that are in there. But I would say there's some years that we have been under 20 and there's some years that we've been over a little 20. But I think the most important thing is when we do tend to have larger classes, they are well supported. But in most cases, we have 2 grade levels at a section. So if that is the case, of course, it tends to be a little bit smaller, but it really will be dependent upon number of registrants and the students that are in those classes as well.
Our next question is, it looks like the first day of school is on Rosh Hashanah, is that right? And I can take that, Ms. Canavo, if you want me to.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Yep. Yes, that it does appear to be the case historically, and we work in concert with a Jewish association to identify days as well as other religious groups. Historically, we have taken the high holier of the 2 days, and we have been in session on Rosh Hashanah. That said, families certainly have the option, regardless of affiliation, to observe anything of importance to them. So if that's a conversation you would like to have further, we can certainly have that conversation. I am not seeing any other questions at this point in the chat. I do want to pull up, there is a Q&A section too, and I just want to make sure nobody has put anything in there. Okay, yep, there is a question there. Do you have any idea yet about changes in scheduling, start, end times, etc., due to COVID guidance? And Ms. Canavo, you can take that or I can take that. I'll leave it up to you.
No, I mean, I think what we would say is that our typical school day runs from 8:10 to 3 o'clock. This school year, we did have to adjust that, and elementary students came in at 8:30 and left between 2 and 2:15. I mean, in an ideal world, we would like it to be 8:10 to 3 o'clock. We would, we really feel that the length of our school day is important and supports the needs of our students. However, if for safety reasons we had to change that, we certainly would give families as much notice as possible. I don't know, would you like to add on to that, Dr. Long?
The only thing I would say is we continue to follow the guidance from the CDC and then more closely the Albany County Department of Health, which gets updated pretty regularly. We're being told right now to expect updated guidance next Tuesday from the CDC. And I think we do a pretty good job of keeping our parents and families up to date. The nice thing about our new families now that we have your information in your emails, we'll be able to include you in those communications, so as information gets updated and changed, we'll be able to provide you the most up-to-date information. The next question I see, Ms. Canavo, which is a great question, is there any difference between the 2 classes in terms of curriculum or schedule?
So no, there is not. Between the 2 classes, we work very hard, and that is part of the kindergarten screening, to create what we call balanced classrooms. So we try to balance students with students who may be shy versus students who are a little bit more outgoing, with students who maybe have more readiness skills than other students. So we really try to create classrooms that we call balanced. And even down to boy and girl makeup. Like, we try to really create classrooms that are well mixed and have a variety of different learners. So all of the students will have access to the same curriculum. All of the students have access to the same special area classes. One class may go to art at 10 o'clock and the other class goes at 10:30, but they all have access to the same materials. And then I would also say that Mrs. Kennedy and Mrs. Maldonado work together incredibly closely. The events that they put on, the things that they do, they often do in tandem and together. So I would say whether you're a Mrs. Kennedy or Mrs. Maldonado's class, your child would have a very similar experience. Mrs. Maldonado or Mrs. Kennedy, would you like to add anything on to that?
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly. Mrs. Kennedy and I are a very good team, and we do everything together. So whatever she's doing in her class, I'm doing in my class, and we like to make sure that all of our students are getting equal academics, equal social and emotional. Everything would be pretty much the same in each of our classes.
Yep, I agree. And in a normal year, we would do some events together. So that's fun too. But yeah, I think that it's pretty balanced and we collaborate often. We even talk about, you know, kids from each other's classes, and we, you know, have conversations every day about that. So yeah, I agree.
I have another question, Mrs. Canavo. And students are all in or CVL. By CVL, I assume we're talking about virtual learning. And that is the case this year. I will say we do have the capacity and the ability and welcomed all of our students to join us in person this year, but understand that's a very personal decision. So right now we offer both in-person 5 days a week or remote 5 days a week. We also have the capacity to make some short-term adjustments if needed for students. We will await the guidance that we get for next year and what we have to put in place and what we need to put in place to provide the best opportunity for all of our students. I don't know if you have any more you want to add to that, Mrs. Canavo?
No, I think that you covered it. Thank you.
All right, I'm just double checking the chat. I don't see anything else in the chat. Let me double check the Q&A. I do not see anything further there. Mrs. Canavo, I welcome you to make any closing comments, and then I'll wrap it up if you would like me to.
So I really would just like to thank families for joining us this evening. If you have additional questions or something comes up after tonight, I can be reached here at school. My extension is 119 or 107. You can email me. You are more than welcome to reach out to any of the panelists that were here this evening. They're happy to answer any follow-up questions you have. Please know that we did record this session, so if you would like to go back and take a peek, please feel free, and we will make the PowerPoint available on our website as well, so that families can have that information. And then I think last but not least, if you know a family who's going to have a kindergartner who is going to turn 5 before December 1st this year, please, please, please send them our way, and we will get them all set up. You know, especially some of our new families who maybe it's their oldest child, they may not know. It seems really early. I can't believe it's March and we're planning for your little people to come with us in September. But if you know anybody who's going to have a kindergarten age student next year, please send them our way. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Long to wrap up this evening. Thank you.
And I'm going to reiterate a lot of what Mrs. Canavo said. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. We really can't wait to see your students in the fall. And at our screening, one of the highlights of our year is seeing our prospective students. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank all of our faculty and staff who participated this evening, and for our PTA who joined us this evening. Menands School is really a special place. For those of you who already have students with us, you know that. And for those of you who don't, we can't wait for you to find that out. Like Mrs. Canavo said, if anything comes up, if you have questions when you leave here tonight, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We will always answer our phone, our emails, and in most cases, our door is always open, but give us a call, shoot us an email. We will be more than happy to talk to you.
Thank you, everybody. That will wrap up our evening. You can feel free to log out, and we look forward to seeing everybody soon. And thank you to our panelists. You can log out as well if you would like to. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.